In the past couple of years, streaming services have become increasingly more expensive, even making some subscriptions available for cheaper but with advertisements. I saw a post yesterday of HBO Max making their prices more expensive once again, and that's what sparked the idea for this video. We're going to look if Blu-rays or streaming are better for you. I specifically say for you because there is no definitive answer on what is subjectively better. I also say Blu-ray specifically, but some of these points of course also count towards DVDs, but I specifically chose Blu-rays because that is what matches the most common quality on streaming services. One of the pros of streaming is convenience. You open your app or website, you click a movie, and you're ready to go. If you have Blu-rays, you have to grab the case first, take out the movie, pop it in the player, and then when it's done you have to take it back out, put it back in the case, and put the case back where it belongs. With streaming, you constantly have access to a library full of movies and series on all your smart devices. For Blu-rays, you also need a dedicated player. Now, video game consoles these days, and even consoles that go 2 generations back, can also play Blu-rays, and you can usually find a used Blu-ray player for a fairly cheap price in thrift stores or secondhand shops. But watching it on your phone, of course, is not really possible with Blu-rays. Or at least it's not, convenient. With streaming services, you can easily download your movies via the service and watch them later when you don't have internet. This is great for if you travel around or you go on trips often. Now, of course, there are portable Blu-ray players, but they're barely around, they're not really great at all, and they're definitely not convenient. But let's say your internet is down for a day and you don't have any movies downloaded on your smart devices, Blu-rays of course can be played offline at any time. Blu-rays of course are a physical object, so they need to be stored somewhere, and they do take up space. People who live in smaller places or simply don't want their houses filled with movies may prefer streaming platforms for that reason. You can, however, buy disc binders and throw out the cases if you really want to go with physical media and are short on space. Blu-rays have better quality, and that's a fact. Blu-rays support up to 1080p movies, and they have a bitrate up to 40 megabits per second for video and 7.2 megabits per second for audio. They rarely have compression or are very minimally compressed. Now, most streaming services of course offer 1080p content, but the bitrate varies heavily and will not reach what a Blu-ray can do. A movie playing from a Blu-ray player will always be better quality. It will be sharper, and especially when there's a lot going on screen. If you have a slow internet connection, your quality will even be worse when streaming content. It's the same when it comes to audio. Streaming services sometimes offer Dolby Atmos, but it's usually at a lower bitrate. A study of Tech Insights in 2022 actually showed that the dynamic range of a Blu-ray track is on average 12 decibels higher than a streamed version. This means that if you hear a whisper versus a gunshot, you will feel that impact of the gunshot much more with the sounds blending together. On streaming, that whisper might sound masked and the gunshot may be flattened to stay within a narrow range of audio. Obviously, the difference in quality in audio may also differ depending on your setup. If you have a TV that's Full HD and just use your TV speakers, you may see some difference in video quality, but the audio quality won't be substantially better compared to if you use speakers or a soundbar. Cost can vary so much that this is very user dependent. It heavily depends on if you're a real cinephile and watch tens of movies a month and are very picky, or you don't really care what you watch and you don't watch as many movies. Generally, a streaming service without ads is between 8 to 15 euros a month. That streaming service will, of course, have limited movies. Netflix won't have much Disney or Warner Bros. Because they have their own streaming platforms. That's why if you want to stay on the cheaper side and you want to stick to one streaming platform, you have to be open to watch any movie or series that platform provides. If you watch a lot of different movies or are very picky, you're going to need to have more streaming services, which can rack up in costs very quickly. Now, Blu-rays aren't exactly cheap if you buy them new. If you can get them at a good deal, they're usually around 6 to 10 euros, and MSRP can go anywhere from 10 euros and up. But that's the nice part with physical media, you can buy it secondhand. I on average pay about 4 euros per Blu-ray. I buy it from thrift stores, secondhand shops, or various online platforms. There's plenty of cheaper stuff to buy that's available right for you to pick up. I'm pretty specific with what movies I want to watch. So if I want to watch 21 Jump Street, for example, I either need to subscribe to Videoland, which is a Dutch streaming platform, for $10.99 without ads, or I pay 2 euros at a thrift store. easy choice for me. But of course, there is movies that are harder to get on Blu-ray or more expensive, but there's also movies that are cheaper on Blu-ray and not available on streaming services at all. But then there's also, of course, the cost of buying the player, which can vary heavily. I got my player for 10 euros at the thrift store and another one for my PC for 20 euros. But the cost, of course, that you invest in this Blu-ray or the player is not lost. When you pay for a streaming service and your subscription runs out, that money is gone forever. When you buy a Blu-ray or a Blu-ray player, you always have the chance to sell it again. Sometimes if you buy the movie for real cheap, you might even be able to make some money and reinvest it in new movies. The cost of owning a Blu-ray may be more expensive sometimes than streaming, but you actually own the product. In this day and age, owning is becoming rarer. We are paying subscriptions for a lot of things. I myself try to step out of subscriptions as much as I can and own what I want to have. When it comes to a license for a program, I try to buy a lifetime license if possible. With movies, I buy Blu-rays. With music, I like to buy CDs. With video games, I buy them physically or digitally, but not with a Game Pass subscription, for example, which also recently rose in price again. When you own something, it's yours. It can't be changed. While on streaming, things can change and can even be censored or cropped in a certain way that ruins the original format. But you can own the original copy. You can have what it was, what it originally was supposed to be and meant to be and published as. Movies and series can also disappear from streaming services due to licenses running out. You don't have to worry about this when you own the Blu-ray. Let's say you're getting yourself into a long series that might be 8 or 9 seasons. It might take you a couple of months to finish, and within those months they can kick the series off the platform, or they might even increase the cost of subscription. When you own that series on Blu-ray, you paid once and you can take as long as you need without someone trying to snag it away from your hands and trying to make you pay more. With Blu-rays, a lot of times you also get extras with your movies. Behind the scenes footage, blooper reels, commentary from actors or directors. It's always nice to watch even more of your favorite movie. Streaming rarely has this. Sometimes series come with some bonus footage apart from the episodes, but it's usually limited to trailers. Blu-rays can also come with some nice extras if you buy special releases or collector's editions. And steelbooks are pretty nice too if you want something a little more fancy than a plastic case. So, which side are you on? Physical ownership or digital convenience? Of course, you can also always go the hybrid route, where you have 1 or 2 streaming services and still buy Blu-rays for specific movies. You can also digitally rent movies, but it's kind of similar to streaming. You pay a certain price, after that you lose your money and you have your movie for a very limited time. You can also buy movies digitally, but it has shown before that licenses can also be revoked from that, and your digital movies are also not officially yours. It's similar to video games where you technically buy a license to play the game, or in this case, watch the movie, but if that license is gone, your movie is gone as well. That's why I didn't exactly go in depth on renting or buying digitally, because I think those are far inferior than streaming or buying physical media. Let me know in the comments what you like to do. Do you like to buy movies, rent movies? Do you like to stream movies? And if you're into physical media, let me know your favorite release that you own down below. Alright, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video hopefully. See ya!